I think in terms of MVP, it may not be in this order, but to me, it's Asia Wilson, surprise, surprise, Olivia Miles,
Kelsey Mitchell.
Can I get there?
Oh, my bad.
Kelsey Mitchell, Paige Bueckers. Those are my 4.
Caitlin Clark just sent a message the entire WNBA MVP conversation can't ignore anymore. After dominating the second half against the Dallas Wings and going head-to-head with Paige Bueckers, Caitlin didn't just have a good game. She completely changed the conversation. And here's the part that has fans talking. While some MVP lists continue to leave Caitlin out, her numbers are becoming harder and harder to ignore. So was Caitlin Clark just snubbed from the MVP conversation? Or is she actually becoming one of the biggest favorites right now? Let's break it all down. But first, if you enjoyed Caitlin's takeover, hit that like button and subscribe for more WNBA updates.
Yeah, Kelsey comes in here and she works every day. I mean, she gets up extra shots. She just comes in and does what she needs to do. And I think, honestly, she's really just the MVP. Like, I think that's just what she's been doing every single night you see her.
Caitlin Clark just sent a message the entire WNBA MVP conversation can't ignore anymore. After dominating the second half against the Dallas Wings and going head-to-head with Paige Bueckers, Caitlin didn't just have a good game. She completely changed the conversation. And here's the part that has fans talking. While some MVP lists continue to leave Caitlin out, her numbers are becoming harder and harder to ignore. So was Caitlin Clark just snubbed from the MVP conversation? Or is she actually becoming one of the biggest favorites right now? Let's break it all down. But before we get into the game, there's one thing that immediately caught the attention of fans. When Aaliyah Boston was asked about her MVP favorites, she mentioned Aya Wilson, Olivia Miles, Kelsey Mitchell, and Paige Bueckers. But there was one massive name missing, Caitlin Clark. And that omission immediately created a debate. Because how can you mention Kelsey Mitchell as an MVP favorite while leaving Caitlin Clark out of the conversation? To be clear, Kelsey absolutely deserves the recognition. She has been an important part of Indiana's success and has consistently shown up when the Fever need her. But Caitlin's production makes her omission extremely difficult to understand. She is one of the league's most dangerous scorers, one of its best playmakers, and a player who can completely change the rhythm of a game without even needing to dominate the ball. And Boston wasn't the only person to praise Kelsey. Earlier in the week, Boston spoke about Mitchell's work ethic and how she comes into the gym every day, gets extra shots up, and does whatever the team needs. Boston even described her as an MVP. Again, Kelsey deserves that respect. But when you look at what Caitlin Clark has been doing lately, it becomes almost impossible to pretend that she doesn't belong in that same conversation. And then Caitlin had the perfect opportunity to answer all of the noise herself. The Fever faced the Dallas Wings, and the first half certainly didn't look like the beginning of an MVP statement. Indiana went into halftime trailing 37-35. The offense was struggling to find consistency, the game was physical, and Caitlin even appeared to be dealing with some discomfort late in the half when she headed toward the locker room. For a moment, fans had every reason to be concerned. But whatever happened during that halftime break, Caitlin came back looking completely different. She immediately started attacking point. One of her first big plays came when she faced Paige Bueckers, used the shot fake, got her defender moving, and calmly finished at the rim. It was simple, it was controlled, and it was exactly the kind of play that showed Caitlin wasn't going to sit back and watch the game happen around her. Then came the play that really started changing the momentum. Caitlin jumped into the passing lane, intercepted the ball, and took off toward the other end for an easy finish. Suddenly, the Fever had energy, and Caitlin wasn't finished. Soon after, she put Odyssey Sims in a difficult position with a quick move that created separation and gave her another opportunity to attack. But what made this performance even more impressive was that Caitlin didn't need to score every possession. She started pushing the pace. She started creating opportunities. She started finding teammates before the defense could get organized. And then came one of those passes that reminded everyone why Caitlin Clark's playmaking is such a huge part of her value. She launched a long pass ahead to Kelsey Mitchell, putting the ball exactly where her teammate needed it. That is the part of Caitlin's game that sometimes gets overlooked. Her impact isn't only measured by how many points she scores. She can control the tempo, create open shots, force defensive rotations, and turn one defensive stop into an immediate scoring opportunity. And once the third quarter began, Caitlin completely took over. She scored 17 points in the third quarter alone. She went 7 for 9 from the field. She added 2 assists. And suddenly, a game that looked extremely competitive at halftime was being controlled by the Fever. That was the Caitlin Clark everyone has been waiting to see. Aggressive, confident, efficient, and completely in control. But the biggest part of the story was still coming, because Caitlin Clark didn't just have a big third quarter and disappear. She continued making an impact throughout the rest of the game. In the fourth quarter, the rest of Indiana's roster finally started finding its rhythm too. Kelsey Mitchell stepped up with some important shots. Ty Harris suddenly caught fire from 3, knocking down 5 3-pointers after struggling to find her offensive rhythm in previous games. And that made the Fever even more dangerous. Because once Caitlin is controlling the game and her teammates start hitting shots, opposing defenses are forced into an impossible situation. If they collapse on Caitlin, she finds the open shooter. If they stay home on the shooters, Caitlin attacks. And if they try to speed her up, she can slow everything down and create her own shot. That versatility is exactly why her MVP case deserves serious attention. By the end of the night, Caitlin Clark had finished with 29 points and 10 assists. But the final numbers only tell part of the story. In the second half alone, Caitlin scored 20 points, shot over 70% from the field, added 6 assists, and recorded a steal. That was the stretch that changed the game. And yes, Paige Bueckers had a strong performance too. Paige deserves credit for making her shots and taking advantage of the opportunities the defense gave her. But when the game entered its most important stretch, Caitlin showed why her name belongs in the MVP conversation. And now let's take a step back, because this wasn't some isolated performance. Look at Caitlin's production over her recent 10-game stretch. She has been averaging around 26 points and 9 assists per game, while shooting over 50% from the field and more than 40% from 3. Those are elite numbers, and her playmaking numbers are especially important. Caitlin has continued climbing the WNBA record books and became the fastest player to reach 700 career assists. She has also produced more games with at least 25 points and 10 assists than any player in WNBA history. Think about that for a moment. This is a player who is scoring at an elite level while simultaneously creating opportunities for everyone around her. That combination is incredibly difficult to defend. And there's another piece of context that shouldn't be forgotten. Caitlin Clark already finished 4th in MVP voting during her rookie season. That was before she had a full opportunity to establish herself at this level. Now she has more experience. She has more confidence. Her game has continued to develop, and she's showing that she can take over against strong competition. So when people ask whether Caitlin Clark should be considered an MVP favorite, the answer is becoming harder to debate. Aya Wilson is obviously deserving of recognition. Paige Bueckers has had an impressive season. Kelsey Mitchell has been extremely valuable for Indiana. Olivia Miles has also made a strong case. But Caitlin Clark has a combination of scoring, passing, efficiency, record-breaking production, and game-changing impact that simply cannot be ignored. And perhaps the most important thing is that she is heating up at exactly the right time. The MVP conversation isn't decided by one game, but performances like this can absolutely change the way people look at the race. Caitlin didn't just beat the Wings. She didn't just outduel Paige. She reminded everyone watching that when the game gets tight and Indiana needs someone to take control, she has the ability to become the engine that drives the entire team. So maybe the question isn't whether Caitlin Clark belongs in the MVP conversation anymore. Maybe the real question is, how can anyone leave her out of it? If you believe Caitlin Clark belongs among the WNBA MVP favorites, drop a in the comments. And if you want more Caitlin Clark and WNBA updates, make sure you subscribe, because this MVP race is only getting hotter.